This is Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera. We are speaking with Sir Arthur here in the Fifth Eye Bar, and he is going to tell us so much stuff. We're going to ask him a grip load. Just a grip, Josiah. There's not a grip load. We're going to ask him a grip load of questions. Grip was already a word, but I made up grip load. That's mine. I own that. I could trademark it if I wanted to. And if I knew how. What's the difference between oddities, ciphers, and artifacts? He takes a long puff on his pipe before answering. For the most part, he says, those terms refer to how useful a device is. It makes sense. As wonderful and powerful as the relics of the past are, nobody in this world gives a damn unless it can fix their problems. He sighs. They don't care how it works or where it came from, eh? But if they can use it to feed themselves, fight off an erranthgrask, or at least get them a few extra shins, now they're interested. He shows you the back of his fist and sticks out a thumb. Oddities are the least useful. They do something all right. Heat your drink, float in the air, make everything you say sound like music, whatever. But it's rarely something anyone can get any utility out of. Oddities are fascinating, but pragmatically they're only worth a few shins. He sticks his pointer finger in the air next to his thumb. Ciphers now. Just so you guys know, I'm actually holding up my hand with the thumb stuck out, and then I just put my other finger out. I'm literally doing the hand thing, even though you can't see me, because it gets me more immersed into the character, alright? This is method acting. Ciphers now, those might do anything. Heal your body, shoot a blast of flame, teleport you somewhere safe, and so on. But they're volatile. Whatever they do, they'll do it just once. And if you don't know what you're doing, putting too many together can give you what's called cipher sickness. Random yawn attack. He puts up a third finger. Yep. Artifacts won't do that. That term belongs to devices that last. Maybe not forever, but more than a one-shot. What are oddities, ciphers, and artifacts again? He ticks them off on his fingers. Oddities are anything that does something strange or magical, but not particularly useful. They're mostly good for making some shins. Ciphers are powerful relics, but volatile. They'll only work once, and if you carelessly put too many together, you'll get what's called cipher sickness. Artifacts are more stable and last longer. Some of the most famous weapons and armor in the Ninth World are actually artifacts from prior ones. What's cipher sickness? Terrible. Just terrible. He sets his pipe down. Ciphers are volatile devices, as I told you. If you know what you're doing, you can separate, insulate, quarantine, thus carrying more ciphers than your average explorer without ill effects. Something on his person starts chirping. He taps his pocket to stop it, but otherwise pays it no mind. He just got a text message. If you can carry more than you can handle, if you carry more than you can handle, those ciphers react in unpredictable ways, draining your energy, wearing you down, or worse. He leans forward conspiratorially. This one time I saw a cluster of ciphers bond to each other and gain what I can only describe as sentience. Ripped my assistant to pieces before tearing off into the cold desert. Haven't seen it since. He picks up his pipe and then sticks it back in his mouth. It was completely unexpected. I felt bad about that assistant, but, well, science and all that. He shrugs. Nice. Sorry you got torn to pieces, but, well, science and all that. Fortunately, most effects of cipher sickness are only temporary, easily cured by simply getting rid of some ciphers. Can you tell me about cipher sickness again? If you carry more ciphers than you know how to handle, they can make you sick, draining your energy or worse. It probably won't kill you, but... well, that's what I said about the fanged Naveri we stumbled upon in Cerdan's Pass, too. Fortunately, most effects of cipher sickness are temporary, easily cured by simply getting rid of some ciphers. How would you categorize the Numenera? Ah, a fascinating question. He sets down his drink and leans forward. Just leaned forward. I'll give you the brief version, because you obviously have places to be. Put simply, I am less interested in how useful a device is than in its means of function. He takes a quick puff from his pipe and sets that down as well. Now, the technology of the prior worlds is far too incomprehensible and varied for us to truly understand which civilizations created what, but we can define some basic categories. He counts each one on his fingers. Many devices deal with fundamental forces: gravity, magnetism, sound, light, even time itself. Automatons and created intelligences fall under artificial life. Biotechnology covers a wide variety of Numenera. Many plants and animals that we consider natural were in fact created by prior worlds for some arcane purpose. The bloom may fall into this category. Someday I'll hire a team to find out, if I can find anyone reckless enough. You could hire Eratus. He'll do it. There are chemical devices as well, as those dealing in various forms of matter, metals, liquids, crystals, and conversions between the three. His eyes light up. The most interesting are also the most esoteric: nanotechnology, which covers much of what common folk consider magic. Transdimensional tech and technology related to the datasphere itself. He leans back, reinserting his pipe. But these are just the classifications I prefer. The Numenera defy definition. What is the datasphere? It's difficult to say exactly, so he doesn't know. At a most basic level, the datasphere is information stored within the air itself, but it's much, much more than that. Several of the prior worlds created similar spheres of knowledge around or throughout our world. Our term, datasphere, encompasses all of them, the connections between them and the effects thereof. For example, he lifts a knobbed finger. My finger's not that knobbed, but I lifted it. People talk about glimmers, visions from another place or time. These are actually some portion of the datasphere accessing human minds. Some ciphers, even some nanos, can access arcane knowledge from the datasphere. Why, even so-called telepathy is sometimes two people communicating through the datasphere without realizing it. That's convenient. Datasphere. The Sky Matrix. The datasphere as a subject of research is far too large for several lifetimes. Alas, I have only been able to spend my time delving into devices that seem to use it, but not the datasphere itself. Or rather, the various and incompatible networks that comprise the datasphere. Perhaps someday. Datasphere seems pretty interesting. Can you tell me about the datasphere again? What we call the datasphere is actually several networks of information. Possibly more than just information, but that's my own conjecture. Some ancient relics or even people are able to access it or be accessed by it, giving them arcane knowledge or esoteries. He sucks on his pipe. Or merely driving them insane. You never know. Science and all that. What are esoteries? Esotery is the common name for any of various powers or abilities that cannot be explained by our understanding of science. Nanos are capable of esoteries more than most, but other people, and even creatures sometimes, exhibit powers that we would call esoteries as well. Esoteries are spells, is what they are. Can you tell me about esoteries again? Esoteries are inexplicable powers and abilities some people have, most often performed by some connection to the Numenera. What are shins exactly? He peers at you over his glasses. Ha! You are new, aren't you? Shins are currency. The Eon priests believe that some very ancient prior worlds use specific metals or crystals as currency per their rarity. But of course, no metal is truly rare anymore. Half the nanos I've met can transmute metal into crystal. Why, I once transmuted flesh into gold, though not entirely on purpose. Anyway, science and all that. Rarity is useless as a means of value. So the value of shins is necessarily a social construct. Shins can be any coin-like object or jagged bit of interesting material, though I think you'll find there is remarkable agreement as to what does and does not constitute a true shin. Many realms in the Steadfast actually mint their own money, but you'd be hard-pressed to find a traveling merchant who didn't accept anything you had on you at the time. Can you tell me about shins again? It's just currency, and it only works as long as we all agree it works. A shin can be any coin-like object or interesting bit of material. You can sometimes scavenge shins from debris, but no one has ever become rich that way. A sheet of iron is worth far more than the shins you could make from it, for example. Okay, that makes sense. How is Drit part of the Numenera? Run your hand through the soil, girl, and you'll find it's hardly soil at all. It is filled with the microscopic remains of ancient unknown technologies and structures, commonly known as Drit. Why, in some places, the Drit is even alive. He takes a sip from his mug. I don't recommend sleeping on the ground in those places, by the way. Terribly unnerving for the survivors. Science and all that. What's the Order of Truth? It's what you might call an organized religion, except it's not a religion. Oh, members of the Order call themselves priests and their founder, the Amber Pope, but they don't worship anything per se, except perhaps their own intellects. I understand this town has its own branch of the Order. They can answer your questions better than I. Who is Diablo? The Lord of Terror. Alright. So, I'd like to ask about something else. Of course! Ask away! He leans back and takes another pull from his pipe. How do you know so much about the Numenera? Cipher gathering was always the main source of income for my family. Alas, no more, but I have extended that penchant into pure research. It is not arrogant to say that mine is one of the greatest laboratories in the Steadfast. Why, an entire university has sprung up around my home. I specialize in research and experimentation. Prospective assistants apply almost daily, which is good considering how quickly we churn through them. He clears his throat. Science and all that. Dead assistants. I'd like to know more about the world. Oh, another giant set of questions. Here we go. Of course, ask me anything you like. I've traveled all over the Ninth World, throughout the Steadfast and the beyond. I even know a little about this part of the world. The so-called Beyond the Beyond. I've met explorers of all kinds and listened to countless stories. So, what is it you would like to know? What can you tell me about the Steadfast? Much, my friend, much. Too much, in fact. Steadfast is a collection of kingdoms and principalities far west of here, all the way at the end of the continent. He blows smoke from his mouth. It forms into a purple ball and drops to and then through the floor. It is where the Order of Truth holds sway more than anywhere else. There are several different kingdoms, along with scattered villages and aldeias, but they all swear fealty to the Amber Pope and his Eon priests. Really? So the Amber Pope's just straight up in charge of shit. He utters a small growl. The Order requires nobles of the Steadfast to fight against the Gaians, supposedly a cult to the north. I've never been there myself, so I don't know the truth, but it sounds like a waste of lives and resources if you ask me. That's why I keep my laboratory in the southern reaches, as far from the conflict as possible. He sucks on his pipe thoughtfully. Granted, the Order did ask me to leave after several incidents, but I was planning on moving anyway. Incidents, huh? Sounds serious. Can you tell me about the Steadfast again? A collection of kingdoms and principalities on the western end of the continent. It is the seat of the Amber Pope. He chuckles. It is also the seat of the famous scholar Sir Arthur Turine. And it's also very, very far away from the area in which this game is set. What can you tell me about the Beyond? A wilderness between the Steadfast and here. Highly dangerous. His words seem meant to frighten, but he has an excited glimmer in his eye. Some of the most interesting claves and villages can be found there. I found one village whose people hovered a meter off the ground. From birth to death. The villagers of another would tell you the exact method of your future death. I can't say how accurate they were, though several of my assistants tendered their resignations. Science and all that. Further out is the realm of the most deadly creatures, landscapes, and weather. Oh yes, he says, seeing your expression. The land and weather itself will rip you apart in several locations in the beyond. You've heard of the Iron Wind. It is but one of the cruel rulers of that land, though perhaps the most infamous. A cloud of invisible machines altering the physical structure of anything and anyone it touches. He grins widely as he brings his cup to his lips. Truly terrible! He didn't seem to think it's that terrible. Can you tell me about the Beyond again? A wild place where the Numenera holds sway more than humanity. Some few communities find ways to survive, but most explorers find travel very difficult. He takes a contented puff of his pipe. Most. I'm yawning a bunch, which is weird because I don't really feel like I'm tired, but I keep yawning. What can you tell me about the areas beyond the Beyond? You're in it, friend. They call it the Sagus Protectorate, or at least this portion of it. There is Sagus Cliffs and the Bloom nearby. I've heard of places like Harif and Mirajolios far to the east. I'm most interested to explore this Valley of Dead Heroes I've heard so much about. A place to inter the dead. Bound to be some very interesting relics in a place like that. He sighs. In truth, I'm only a recent arrival to this place myself. You would do better speaking with the locals. Can you tell me about the Sagas Protectorate again? Not much, I'm afraid. I'm looking forward to visiting parts of it myself. You would do better speaking with the locals. What can you tell me about different kinds of explorers? Brave and intrepid souls, my friend. Explorers come in all shapes and packages, but I think you will find that most people prefer to label the bravest explorers as glaives, nanos, or jacks. Glaives are the elite warriors of the world. Nanos are those who study the Numenera, using it to perform powerful esoteries. He taps a yellowish ash from his pipe. Jack is something of a catch-all term. Jack. They're mostly pragmatic folk who know a little fighting and a little Numenera, jacks of all trades, as it were. But explorers of any stripe are useful to have around, especially if you're expecting trouble. Can you tell me about the different kinds of explorers again? Well, it's unfair to put people in a box, but in truth, that's what most people do. They prefer to think of the most fantastic explorers as either fighting glaives, esoteric nanos, or jacks of all trades. Why do they call this the Ninth World? Because there have been 9 worlds, and this is the last one. Duh. An interesting question. He takes a preparatory swig from his cup. One would think it is because 8 worlds came before us, but even a cursory study of the Numenera reveals far too much breadth and variation for there to have been a mere 8 prior worlds that created it all. One then might ask what qualifies as a world. We could say the 1st through 8th worlds are defined as the most powerful or influential civilizations of their eras, but even that fails under the most basic reasoning. If the previous 8 worlds we refer to were the greatest of the ancients, then what qualifies this world, wherein we cannot even understand the most basic theories governing a time augur, to be the 9th? The truth, I'm afraid, is that we call this the 9th world simply because that is what we have decided to call it. No more and no less. Why do we call it the 9th world again? I don't know. No, I believe it's because that is what we've decided to call it and no other reason. Well, that's kind of a shitty reason. Might as well call it the 8th world or the fucking 10 millionth world. Or the world of giggles and rainbows. If I could decide, I would call it Orange Juice World. I'd like to ask about something else. I don't think I do, actually. I think I've asked him everything. So this guy just dumped on us basically the entire lore of Numenera, the role-playing game. Everything you need to know about Numenera, the game, and its setting, he just told us all about. So if you didn't know what Numenera, the role-playing game, was before, now you know. It's everything he just told us. That's all I wanted to know. Farewell. And safe travels to you, madam. So that's Sir Arthur. So now there is nobody left to talk to except for the 5. The party of 5. And we're going to chat all of them up. And see what their deal is. So let's start with Feriok, the bartender. Feriok, the bartender. A quick save. The bartender who seems to be missing a hand at least. It looks like he's dressed and ready to go pilot an X-Wing. The bartender was a tall, powerfully built man with nut-brown skin and a bushy beard. He radiates strength and confidence. He moves with speed when necessary and remains almost motionless the rest of the time, like a predator waiting to leap. Dude sounds like kind of a badass. Yet even when he prepares a drink, he doesn't touch a thing. His brow furrows slightly, and the bottles and glasses lift by themselves. When he sees you, he smiles broadly. "Welcome to the Fifth Eye, friend. I'm Feriok." Can you tell me about this place? "The Fifth Eye is a bar for psychics. At least it is now. In the prior worlds, near as we can tell, it was an old pumping station. All these pipes lead down to some reservoirs deep beneath the city, and they pump whatever is in the reservoirs up here." He laughs. "Anyway, some damn fool started drinking from the pipes, and some other fools started in too. Some of them died, but some got drunk as well. Drunk as hell. After a few whiles, vague enough for you? They got pretty good at figuring out which were safe and which weren't, and that's when they figured they'd start making money off the place. Reason psychics flock here is because the building dampens out the psychic noise of the city." He grins. "The drinks help too." Interesting. The people are just drinking random liquids that are being pumped up from underneath the city that nobody knows what they are. Seems legit. Feriok means to say that he is only involved in the delivery of these drinks, rather than their creation. Given his skills, this is only right and proper. He throws a hand across his forehead. Maybe he's not missing a hand. Maybe he's just got a dark-colored glove on. Yeah, he's not missing a hand. I'm wrong. Or maybe he doesn't have a dark-colored glove. Maybe he just has dark skin on his hands. Well, I guess all of his skin is dark, but whatever. Apparently he's not missing a hand. Update. Feriok, 2 hands. Got him. He throws a hand across his forehead. "I've been maligned by this desert-dwelling interloper." "Can you tell me about this place again?" "Oh, you know, old pumping station that seems to be psychically shielded. Strange drinks that we're mixing out of volatile ancient compounds. Occasionally safety hazards, and, of course, a clientele that's more than half cracked." He grins. "Does that cover it well enough?" "You said this is a bar for psychics. What does that mean?" "Means this is a place where psychics can unwind. Get away from the city. Get away from the noise. You know what it's like to be psychic? Let me paint a picture. Imagine every time you're going to sleep, someone comes and starts screaming in your ear. Or objects in the room start whispering about how they want to burn. Or they might tell you their secret names and how to make them float and dance at your command. Okay, that's called having schizoaffective disorder. I do know what that's like, actually, and it's not because I'm psychic. It's because I'm psychotic. You're missing a few letters in the word psychic there. Psychotic. But I think in this game they're talking about being literally psychic, for realsies. Not just hallucinating a bunch of crazy shit. Man, if every time you went to sleep somebody came and screamed in your ear, I would be pissed. Would not be okay. Or maybe every person you meet is like a house with all its doors and windows thrown open, and you can't help but look in to plunder their secrets. And underneath it all, you hear their silent judgments, the truths they hide even from themselves. He pauses to concentrate on a floating cloth as it wipes a mug clean. Then the mug places itself on a rack. Oh wait, so is he like telekinesising these mugs and rags and stuff? Folks think that it's a blessing to have these powers, and sometimes it really is, especially when you can join your friends to make something great. But He shrugs. It can be hard, hateful. You can never tell when you're going over the edge of insanity. Are we talking about psychic powers again? I haven't got much more to say. Talk to the others here. They'll fill your head with stories and pictures. I'd like a drink. You're in for a treat, friend. A real treat. Assuming you call the possibility of a toxic reaction a treat, of course. He points at the various pipes on the wall. We've positively identified some of these as safe. Smaller subset here as inebriants or hallucinogens. We've got a few that are, well, chancy. As in, sometimes they kill people. Cost for a safe drink is 3 shins. Experimental ones, those are 10. Give me one of the safe ones. He nods and closes his eyes. Coming right up, he murmurs. Glasses and cups float through the air without his touch, moving with precision to the spigots on the walls. One settles before you. You drink it. For a moment, you're stepping across a frozen river on the taiga, your 8 long and spindly legs delicately feeling for purchase. Your mechanical joints shiver and lock in place, and you feel the ice crack. You open your eyes. You're in the 5th eye. So, just having a drink made you hallucinate that you're an ice spider. An ice robo-spider. That is a pretty crazy drink. That's all for now. Farewell. Come back soon. Alright, I'm going to save and I'm going to try out the crazy drinks, and then I'll probably just reload my save. After that. How can I serve you today? I'd like a drink. Safe drinks are 3 shins, 10 for experimental ones. What can I get you? Let's talk about the chancy drinks. We got this strange black ichor, thick enough that it's almost chewy. Sounds gross. Like, why would you drink that? There's a pink sludge that's a known entheogen, but its strength varies and sometimes kills people. We have one that smells like eltaban fruit, and we sometimes use that one to get rid of stubborn grease stains. It's acidic, but, well, maybe it's an acquired taste. Let's try the black ichor. He shudders. I tasted the stuff once. I don't remember much about the time afterward, but I was raving about holes in reality. Well, here's your drink. A strong glass bowl floats under a pipe. A spigot turns and the ichor oozes from it. See, I'm not going to drink something that oozes from something. You can smell it from here. The bowl floats back to you, all without Feriok touching it. Drink fast is my advice. He winks. You put the word to deed. The taste is not unpleasant, though the texture is horrifying. Unbidden, you think of soft flesh rotting under a jungle sun. Nothing happens, at least not right away. Just as you begin to doubt the ichor's efficacy, you feel the earth shift slightly. The walls shiver and begin to shake. Their surfaces look as if they are slowly melting. You feel the weight of the ceiling and sky forcing you to the floor, and only a great effort of will keeps you standing. Alright, that sounds intriguing. Rents begin to appear in the flat surfaces of the bar, in the walls. Scabrous tissue rims their edges, and a deathly chorus pipes through in a register almost too high to hear. Okay, this is not being fun anymore. The world tilts on his axis, and you stagger to the right. Your vision blurs, and the invisible world swims into view, becoming more solid than the world you call home. Oh, what's going on? I see floating weird things. We're in the spirit world, asshole. Did you know that we're in the spirit world? Look, I can see all kinds of stuff happening.
Let's do it.
The hell?
Trust and honesty are our bonds.
We're in the spirit world. You know that we're in the spirit world? And young guns. Leave the ghostly woman alone. Hey, Yuzka. Hey, yellow shirt guy. Did you know that we're in the spirit world? Clarion, did you know that we're in the spirit world?
Yes.
Wait, there's some Malaise? Malaise wasn't there before. The fuck?
Go.
Look at this. There's a creature here that was not here before. We just found something interesting by doing the drink thing. This small, unassuming man occupies this space quietly, hands folded in front of him. He does not look at you, but you can feel his regard slip across you and dismiss you as you approach. His attention remains focused on the trio at the nearby table. Everything about him is nondescript, from his light brown skin to his drab clothing. But something about him gives you pause, as if you were approaching the throbbing core of a fallen vessel. Nox Moose searches for invisible cows in the spirit world. Nice. Visible cow search. Gotta use that Moodar. Thanks for that auto-host, Moominite. I don't know if you're even in here to hear me, Moominite, but appreciate the auto-host nonetheless. When at last he turns his attention on you, you feel his regard settle. Like a soft blanket made of metal, it is almost oppressive. Malaise, he says. That is who I am. His voice sounds distorted, strangely out of sync, as if he were calling to you from a distance. You can't read his thoughts any more than you can read the thoughts of the tables in the bar. Where did you come from? His voice is strange and disjointed. The world has always known me. Look around the corner. I exist on the smallest edge. Close your eyes and shiver. I am the cold in your bones. The saccade is my home. The interstices my mind. The frost that surrounds his words suggests that you have offended him. Well, he can fuck off. He's offended me. How about that? So, in other words, you're a creepy weirdo, is what I'm getting. Let me paraphrase you. I'm a creepy weirdo, right? That's what you... Okay. Do you know your name means sickness? I think he knows. Meaning itself is sickness. Vision, action, movement. Movement. This is the only sign of health. His slow and indolent gaze is like a great weight on you. The energy that flows in your body, I read it through your skin. I see your actions before your muscles even begin to twitch. Which, the body's secrets are no defense against me. What is sickness compared to this? Can you tell me about yourself? I am a constant. I live. I thrive. When a thought passes in your mind, I rush before it. I hear the pulsing of your thoughts. I am fabric, essential. Can you tell me anything more about yourself, creepy weirdo? A wave of annoyance pulses from him. No. What can you tell me about this place? He slowly turns his gaze toward the other patrons. A lodestone, a gathering of energies, empty meat, A brief morsel, an obstruction, a bone, an ingrown hair. His empty, terrifying gaze turns back to you. An impediment. Can you tell me about this place again? The taste of failure and regret. Fresh minds and stale hearts. A bitter loss in friends. His eyes fix you to the spot. Negation in service. A tragedy that awaits. Right. Okay. Sure. Why are you watching those people? They shine. They call. They tempt. His voice shimmers strangely, and you hear a distorted echo of thousands of voices mimicking his words. Can you tell me why you're watching those people again? The illusion of time surrounds them. Death has coiled. Probabilities collapse and shiver until inevitability crushes them. Unawareness is intoxicating. Okay. Stepping slowly away from the super creepo. Farewell. There is no way to fare. Yeah, alright. You're a hell of a guy. You're a hell of a guy. Is there anything else different?
Yeah, that's something I could do.
Because there's still a bunch of weird floating shit around.
Sure.
That's so cool that there's a hidden dude that you can only see after you get fucked up on the crazy hallucinogen drink. That's awesome. How can I serve you today? Like a drink. Fancy drinks. I'd like to try the pink sludge. He raises an eyebrow and a heavy glass veers over to the tap. The tap opens, filling the glass with an effervescent pink slop. Ew, slop. Wanna drink some slop? I got some delicious slop here for you to drink. What'll you have? I'll take a slop. Neat. And the glass drifts over to you. Bariok dusts off his hands theatrically, though they never touched your glass. He grins. Drink carefully. Don't overdo. But you have already quaffed it. It is thick and flavorless, but its effects are fast-acting. Your muscles seize, including your heart. Death snatches you so abruptly that you hardly notice the transition. Wait, I died? Oh no.
Altering. I'm hurt.
I died from having a drink. Slop like a fine wine. Like a fine swine. I see what you did there. I don't want to go back to the labyrinth right now. No, random slop death. Don't drink the slop. Don't drink the slop. Don't drink the slop. Do not drink that slop. Loading screen's kind of longer than usual for some reason. Slop coming up the loading screen. Don't drink the slop. Do not drink the slop. Lost all my buffs. No bueno. Why do I even talk to this guy?
Of course.
No bueno.
Fine.
No what? Bueno. Siri, you got anything new to say about the loss of self situation or the ghost? No. She hates being useful. I'm gonna try something. It's science time. Are you ready for science? Hi, everybody.
I knew you'd come back to protect me.
Oh, of course I will.
You bet.
Bariok, I want my money back, bro. He stutters for a moment, his entire body jerking in and out of reality for a moment. You're alive! I mean, of course, you're alive! Welcome back, what can I do for you? I'd like a drink. Well, I want to see if it always kills me. I'm going to drink the pink sludge again. You mean the stuff that killed you last time? I suppose you got back up again, but still, I feel bad serving it to you. But it's your life, your death. The tap turns, although he does not touch it, and the cup floats to you. You quaff it, and again you fall twitching to the ground. Witching. So pretty much, it just kills you every time. So it's like the one mirror.
I'm hurt.
It's like the one mirror in your place that always kills you. Just another way to get back to the labyrinth. But this time you gotta pay 10 shins for it every time, which is no bueno. Nope. I gotta nope this. I gotta nope all of this. F9 is the button of nope. And we're noping. Alright. So this is before I drank the stuff that brought him out. We're not going to drink that yet, or the pink. We're going to try the other one real quick. I'd like to try the grease cutter. He wrinkles his nose. Really? On your own head, I suppose. He concentrates, and a bottle floats over to the tap. The fluid spills into the bottle, and you hear it hiss. The bottle floats to you, and you can see the liquid inside is thin and oily. It smells like talc, the infectious runoff from a pairing between flesh and machine. It smells like a trash-eating lock gorged itself on rotten fruit and lost control of its bowels. Wow. Okay, that's nasty smelling. That is no good. You hold your nose and down it. Say what you will about the smell, the drink packs a powerful wallop. You lose control of your motor functions and stagger briefly. Colors flash across your eyes, and for a moment, everything becomes unbearably funny. Just before a wave of utter sadness wipes all thoughts of laughter from your mind. I know them feels. On its heels come rage, lust, all the emotions of the human condition, condensed into a perfect jewel-like moment. Then it shatters. You are lying on the floor in a pool of your vomit. Wow. Dazed until the next time the party sleeps. That is not cool. That is decidedly not cool.
Doing begets learning, I guess.
So, that's getting noped. So two out of those 3 drinks just absolutely fuck you. And the other one lets you see a hidden dude and talk to him. Let's take the Black Ichor. Go back to the spirit world. Do you know that we're in the spirit world? They can't see us, asshole. We're in the spirit world. Alright. I gotta come back over here and talk to Malaise. Where did you come from? Do you know your name means sickness? Can you tell me about yourself? Why are you watching those people? Why are you watching those people? What can you tell me about this place? You are so fucking weird and creepy, and I don't know what you're talking about. Alright. Farewell.
Sure.
So now I can continue talking to the people in here. Oh yeah, and we haven't asked Feriok about... How can I serve you today? Clarion needs your help. She's looking for warriors to fight in the endless battle.
I'll remember that.
Ha! No! No way! This bar is my life, and I've done my time. I've got no interest in fighting for people I don't know, for a cause I don't believe in. You go right ahead, but count me out. He pauses for a moment, lost in thought, or communion. You know what? Maybe you can convince Clarion to take her recruiter act somewhere else. If you want to, I mean. But really, what she's doing, and what she's thinking, is pretty offensive. That's all for now. Farewell. Come back soon. Feriok refuses to leave the Fifth Eye under any condition. He also suggested that I ask Clarion to leave the bar. Her continuing efforts to recruit him and his friends are apparently unwelcome. Alright. Well, I guess it's time to talk to Leto. But it is that time again. It's time to talk to Leto in our next episode. Oh, I need to get rid of that fucking sound. Hold on. Just hold on. Just slow your roll. Hold your horses. Pump the brakes. Put it in park. Calm your shit. Relax. Just wait. I gotta go out of the bar and back into the bar.
Go.
And that stops the sound.
All right, Ren. You can do this.
Alright, we're gonna talk to Leto, but gonna be on our next episode. If you're watching the stream, guess what? I have good news for you. I'm not done. The stream will continue, unabated. I will keep playing. I'm gonna keep going. But YouTubers, YouTube viewers, both of you, this episode has now come to an end. So thanks for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Torment, Tides of Numenera. Uh-oh. Warning, high encoding. That's not good. Dropped frame 7. Please don't fuck up my video file. Oh, the last one got... Damn it. Alright. Anyway. That's it. This has been Josiah Plays Torment Tides of Numenera. Bye.